our speaker, I'm so excited about this speaker for many, many reasons. I told her when she first checked in with us that one of the things that we do as job seekers frequently is we want somebody to like us. We want somebody to believe that we're going to fit in with their team. And so it's like, not that you prostitute yourself, but it's like the company says, here's what we want you to be. And you say, okay, I'll do anything. I'll be anything you want me to be. But I want this job. And so sometimes the real you is not who gets hired. It's this, I want to please you person that gets hired. So Irina Leoni is going to be talking about attracting the right opportunities in your career transition, leveraging authenticity and connection to stand out. Be the real you, and how do you market the real you and get the job that loves you for who you are? And so I'm really excited about that. Plus, she just sounds like one of the most interesting people ever. She is an innovative marketing portrait photographer known for her vibrant and energetic photographic style. Here are some facts about her. She was born and raised in the former Soviet Union. Interesting factoid. Initially, she had no exposure to business mentality or art background, but she was entrusted with a lot of irreparable optimism. I don't know that optimism needs to be repaired, but hers was irreparable optimism. She immigrated to the United States in pursuit of bluer skies and American dreams. She holds a master's in computer science. She launched a photography career after 11 lucrative years in IT. She is a mother. She is an ex-wife, let's celebrate that, and a good friend to wonderful humans. True to her commitment to never living a boring life, she left behind the established and cushy life in the United States to explore the world as a nomad. Currently, she resides in Milan, Italy, because, well, where else? She is a gifted napper and proud of it, and gelato eater. She is living proof that Po Buddy's perfect. So she also has a sense of humor. So let's give a very warm welcome to Irina Leoni. Irina Leoni, sorry.
It's all right. Hi everyone. While I'm figuring out how the screen share works here, once again, please bear with me. I'm going to be presenting on a very long topic today. I hope you didn't fall asleep on that. Maybe I'll wake you up a little bit. Okay, that seems to be working, right?
Yeah, it works. It looks great.
Perfect. And I can see you all. Fantastic. I have to say hi to Trevor here. Trevor, wake up. I think he's the reason I'm here. Well, Ahmed too. Hi, Ahmed. Is Ahmed here? You guys are so friendly.
Hello, Nina. How you doing?
Friendly. Hi. Okay, I see you now. Good to see your smile.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just dive right in. You guys feel free to ask me any questions in the chat. I hope there will be any. If there aren't, it's okay. Just enjoy and have fun. We're here to unlearn some things, and yeah, basically just unlearn some things. I'm gonna get off the slides for a second so you can see me instead. So I am a weird breed. I'm a branding photographer, and my job is to help people present themselves better as a brand, normally through my photos. But there is so much more to that process than just taking pretty pictures. Most of our lives, we're selling something. We're selling ourselves for a job. We're trying to have people to buy something from us. We sell our ideas. We're selling marriage proposals and all other ways that we're trying to get people's attention and convince them that we are a right choice for them. And we never think about this outside of marketing, but it takes a lot of energy, a ton of energy, for people to process our offers, this information that we're offering to them. And if we don't communicate it very clearly, they might not hear us, and they just don't hear us. There's so much noise, there's so much going on in the world that unless it's right in their face and attractive, they forget about you in 2 minutes. So today I'm going to reveal something that I discovered in 12 years of being a people photographer and helping people with that exact thing, to present themselves better for the camera, to help them come across stronger, to become more personalitier. Is that a word? So this thing that I'll show you today is not very obvious, but it's very powerful. And it's powerful. What's powerful about it is the way this transformation that we achieve during our work together always translates to how people continue to show up and present themselves out in the world after our work is done. It's really magical. The transformation that happens from this person who came to me as this and became that in the process. Not that I changed anything. I did not, trust me. I'm incapable. But just focusing on some things helps people to show up differently, helps them to show up stronger, and it also prevents us from ever having fear that we're not good enough, that someone might find out that we're an imposter. Anyway, we're doubting yourself. Anyway, we're questioning our decisions. Any way that we normally shoot ourselves in the foot. So I want to give you this one tool that is guaranteed to bring you the opportunities that you dream of. And yes, hold on to your seats. This is absolutely true. This is how it works. I tried it myself, and I'm in Milan. Living the dream. Cool. So, okay, just lost my thought here for a second. So I am very distinctly aware that a lot of you are looking for jobs. A lot of you are looking for new opportunities. Even if you're not, there's always some kind of a transition we're going through in life. And it always involves building connections with other human beings. And I'm just going to show you the one way, frankly, I think it's the only way that we can truly stand out while never having to be anything we're not. Never having to do anything we don't like to do, like speaking on stage, or being extroverted if you're an introvert. Like, come on, we introverts hate showing up and pretending we're people. I never said that out loud. That sounds funny. And you're never gonna have to pretend that you're anything you're not. I think I said that. Basically, you'll be your absolute and comfortable self, confident as hell, and able to go after anything you want in life. How about that? Are you sold? I don't see anything going on in chat, and it would be so nice to hear from you guys. People sometimes ask me, are you like a life coach? Why are you teaching this? And I'm like, no, I'm not a life coach. I'm not trained as a life coach. Very far from that. In fact, I've been a photographer, kind of, since about the age 12. That's when my dad gave me my first camera. I kept borrowing his, and he said, no way, don't touch that thing. It's too expensive. Okay, the slides are working. So this is my first camera. I couldn't change anything on it. It was just like a little point and shoot, except on film. Nothing was automatic, no focus, no brightness. You had to guess it all. But somehow the photos that I took with it made me pretty darn popular in middle school. I rolled in it, not in dough, but popularity. Except that by the time high school rolled around, I had to abandon photography because of the the situation the country was in. Like you probably heard, I was born in the Soviet Union, and it kind of broke up. Here it is, broken up. So the country ran out of film, ran out of processing chemicals, and that was it. It was just one big mess. Oh, yeah, that was my next career. I got a master's in computer science. I worked in big corporate IT departments, just like some of you, and I was laid off twice. Eventually, I decided to just do photography because some people complimented my work. They said, "Oh, you're so talented. You take great portraits. Why don't you try it?" And I was like, "Okay, why not? Definitely." Midlife crisis and all. And I photographed everything from weddings to black shoe collections for Orthodox Jewish men. Like, that's funny because the shoes all look nearly identical, and photographing them was strangely difficult and boring. But I'm just gonna go on with my presentation. Shooting images that helped businesses, people who run businesses, market themselves better, because it's so interesting. You know, these people are on a leading edge. They're the thinkers, they're the movers, they're usually the brave, they're scared, but they're doing it anyway. And so meeting these people and working with them became something that made me happy the most. And I just stayed that course for the last 5 years. And I photographed a whole range of different people, from very outgoing and not shy at all, loving the camera, you know, those kind of people, to people who are more closed in and people who say, "Get that thing away from me before I punch you, away from my face, stay right over there, very far away from me." So on one hand, these were professional actors usually, or even models. Yes, I worked with those. And we all know those people are not shy. In fact, their favorite answer to "what do I wear" is wear whatever is easiest to take off. That's just how it works in that world. And the actors are a whole different world. They come to you and present a whole act. They're ready for the camera. It's not just their good-looking self, which is usually pretty good-looking. They're ready. They come with a character. You know what I mean? So those are fun to work with, and sometimes, well, they're stories for another time. And on the other hand, I worked with, for example, I've done corporate headshots, where most times the best we could do with a person was make them look their best, find their working side, make sure they look good, hide things that need to be hidden, and, you know, make them look as comfortable as possible, which wasn't always possible. People are just uncomfortable in front of the camera. That's how it is. And no matter how much I clown around, it's not helping a lot. And in the middle of that range, I worked with people who are very interesting characters, who roll in the entrepreneurial circles, roll in public speaking business. Those people are usually very brave, very driven, and quite often unusual. So the difference between the people here, the actors, the models, the entrepreneurs, and people here in this pile over here, is that these groups have actually worked on their personal brand and developed the character. Actors sometimes are faking it, we know it. Well, these guys, well, this is what we're here for. And that's okay. I was there too. Some days I'm still there. Those are not very good days. I just peeked at the chat. Thank you for the compliment, Kathy. I don't know whose photo was it, but I'm glad you liked it. Cool. So we all kind of, in the past, at least I remember, trying to blend in, trying to fit in somebody's expectations. In the corporate world, I remember always thought that we need to fit in. We need to show up as somebody the company is expecting us. Thank you, Kathy, for giving me those words, for feeding me those words in the beginning when we had this conversation. And I'm here to show you that you don't need to do this. And frankly, actually works against you. So with this variety of subjects that I worked with, seeing how differently everyone behaves, how we show up differently to the world, mostly at no fault of our own, having stayed in touch with these people after the photo shoots, especially with the business folks, with the entrepreneurs, and seeing how they show up differently after we work together, something clicked. Sometimes this thing works. There's one tiny thing missing for these folks here and here. As I already mentioned, they've built the personality, they've built the brand. We call it personal brand in the marketing world. We can call it anything else, anything you like. I'm open to suggestions, in fact, just to wake you guys up, give you some challenge. What should we call it? Personal brand and marketing, and for us regular people, we can call it something else. So I believe with absolute certainty that this process that I do for business owners is so valuable and so important to all people out there, not just the business owners, that there's nearly no other way to be absolutely content with our life, with our choices, to be successful and wealthy at the same time. All these things come from us owning who we are, knowing exactly who we are, and having a great time with it. So, based on this secret process, I'm going to teach you how to stand out. Okay. Goofing around. I'm going to teach you how to stand out, to get anything you want in life, better job, better spouse, better children, better hair. Just kidding about the hair. I'm going back to the share screen again. My mouse keeps running away from me. Are you guys having fun? Some pluses in the chat for me. That would be so nice if I feel heard. It's very difficult with the screen. I can see just names. And Kathy and Shannon. Hi, ladies. Okay, share screen coming on. So what am I teaching you today? Let's go back to that. Attracting the right opportunities in your career transition. Leveraging authenticity and connection to stand out. Stand out. Here's what I used to think we need to do in order to stand out. I thought I need to dress better. I need to have better posture. I need to be maybe more outgoing. Ooh, don't tell me I need to be more outgoing. I hate that. Any introverts in the group? Hi. Maybe I need to be less outgoing. Sometimes, yes, that's true. Sometimes I think I need to show up more and speak up more. In fact, several of my managers told me that. Speak up, say what you think. And I was like, oh, really? Really don't want to be doing that. All I want to do is drink tea while talking to myself and to my books. But let's be real. All of that is really, really good. Showing up, speaking up, being more outgoing, it all helps a lot. But there's one huge part missing. Show up as who? Dress up as who? Dress up whom? Speak up about what? Who am I really? This is where my branding process comes in handy. We begin by shining some light on our own persona. We begin by discovering and then strengthening the qualities that we discover. We basically build this personal brand sometimes from scratch. What happened?
Oh,
my screen just disappeared.
I think Paul did something.
Paul, I'm going to try and share the screen again and see what happens. Oh, this will stop others' screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Yes. I'm the boss here for now.
Yes, you are.
Okay, back to that. Good stuff. What was I saying? So we shine some light on our own persona. We discover who you are and who we are, and we basically build this platform. We build this personal brand. We find out who that person is, all our weaknesses, all our strengths. And then once we've created this list and we can see clearly, you know, when it's all on one page, it starts making sense. And until we put these, we're complicated structures, this brain, this heart, the emotions, the past, everything that influenced us to become who we are is very complicated. So once we put it together in one sheet of paper, all of a sudden it becomes clear. Wow, I'm a real diamond. Maybe in the rough, but there's potential there. And now we can be that person on purpose. We can show up in full strength, in full confidence, and we have this unwavering energy and charisma. People call us charming all of a sudden. We become irresistible. If we don't do this process, if we're lucky to be awfully good looking, we'll show up like any of these folks here. I know they do not look so bad, but do we actually like them as people, or are they assholes in pretty clothes? These perfect people with their perfect hair and perfect smiles. You know what I mean? Nowadays, we've grown to despise perfection. We want something real. No?
Yes.
Because we've all learned that normally hiding behind that perfection is, what do we usually hide behind perfection? We've done it. I've done it. Hello. Because people want the real you, this perfect hair and perfect everything, instead of attracting them, is repelling them. That's what's going on. Back to you. So this self-reflection work that I'm talking about, examining our personalities, who we want to show up as, gathering our personal stories, is what's missing in how most of us, normal human beings, present ourselves in the world. And by normal, I mean, it's not a really, it's not a nice word to say, normal. I don't want to be normal. I don't think you guys want to be normal. Do you? But without this, we're actually wasting a lot of effort trying to impress other people. We're kind of guessing a lot. What are they going to like? We're guessing a lot at what we should show up as, what will impress them. We get nervous. And we make these people guess too, because they don't see us, right? With a strong personal presentation, our career, our personal relationships grow as fast as a skydiver going from 0 to holy shit during free fall, like woo, because you will connect to people on a whole new level of real. Is this clear? I hope this gets through. We need to show up as ourselves. We need to own it. We need to know exactly who we are. Can you guys please put plus in the chat if you're still with me? Oh my God. This message thing here, the chat thing, is showing me that I have new messages. How do I check them? Okay.
It just said people are saying, yes, we're still with you.
Okay, cool.
By the way, I had a coworker one time who was very lovely. She had been a swimsuit model, and she said that, you know, everybody was jealous of her, but she said it was a hindrance in getting a job. That there were lots of places that said, quite honestly, you're going to be a distraction. And, you know, you're too good looking, you're too sexy, you're going to be a distraction in the workplace. And for that reason, you know, you're going to cause all kinds of problems and we're not going to hire you. So,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
If I were her, I'd be like, I don't want to be here either then. Honestly, this is not a place for her then. If she's a distraction, she needs to be around humans who are less distracted by her. It's not like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know how
usually the case. It's not your problem, it's their problem,
exactly.
how they perceive you.
Mm.
Anyway, as you were, I'm sorry.
Right. No. I love this. It made me think, actually. It's an opposite situation. Here's what happens. There's another point to that. Oh, different story. I remember before I did this process for myself, I remember being a little stuck for a while. Yes, I was being a mother. I was raising a human. I was working at work. I was running. Somebody's asking me to admit them. Okay. I was working the business. I was doing a lot of things, but at the same time, 3 years passed and I felt like I've not gotten anywhere. And that happened again because I kept passing on the opportunities that kept opening up to me. Small ones, not like somebody all of a sudden showed up and said, hey, we want you to do a TED Talk at Phoenix, the big one. Or is it in Phoenix? Don't remember. No, the small opportunities, the ones that lead to bigger ones. These are the things that we say no to when we don't fully show up. And so once we're better at being human, this is what is required to actually achieve success in our relationship and in life, because we will make better choices. Right. So I want to talk about the other side of being human for a second. There has been something developing over the last several years. What is the first thing that we used to normally do when we decide to go out and impress someone and convert them into being our new friend, boss, spouse, co-worker? Normally, in the past, I would put on some nice clothes, put a smile on, which is more than in some cultures. Hope that my clothes look good on me. Not always. And it used to be just fine. That's all that we were doing. The rest was left to chance. And with a little bit of time, people kind of get to know us. But at the same time, our office pants get saggy. We wear the same shirts for months. People get used to us. We blend in. We no longer stand out as something new. We stop being interesting. That is, if we were interesting to anyone in the first place, you never know. Maybe, most likely, we're just filling the need, some kind of a necessity. And it used to be just fine too. But then something changed. Over the years, thanks to the influencers, the internet, the social media, and changes that occurred in the mainstream media too, due to the internet, social media, and the influencers. In the marketing world, we call it marketing revolution. But honestly, I think it's just evolution, personality evolution. We're done with professionalism. We're done. It's just not enough anymore. Now we want human. We want interesting. We want stories. And how we present ourselves is not just a fake smile anymore and clean professional look. People now want to work with people they like. And yes, we still must maintain professionalism, blah, blah, blah. Just a note there for the lawyers in the group. We still want to show up on time. We still want to deliver results on our promises, but this is no longer enough. We used to see an ad on TV or in a magazine. We used to buy the product that we saw in that ad because everybody else was buying it. It's not like we had a choice. We were fine dealing with businesses as faceless infrastructures. And we even accepted bad customer service as a norm. I was just in a car dealership. They gave me cheese to take home. That was amazing, but my car didn't start. Like, hello, did I complain? No, I walked away with the cheese and a smile. We're used to this. So then, thanks to this evolution, we experienced great customer service. And we talked about it to our friends. We raved about it. We also experienced brands with personality, brands that gave us a sense of connection. Does anybody use knots.com? I just love that brand. I'm so jealous you guys in the United States and you can order from them. I miss their packing boxes. Just for that, it's worth placing an order. not affiliated in any way. It's just a sense to belong, a sense of belonging somewhere to the community. And like I just did, we rave about those brands too. And this is how the times have changed. And now we seek more personality everywhere. We seek it in businesses that we're dealing with. We seek it in people we're dealing with. And these people already come with personalities. They're hiding. What's wrong with that? So I hope we've established that we're looking for this human connection first and foremost. One more thing about being human. Last week, I actually went to ChatGPT. Who hasn't heard of ChatGPT? Say something in the chat. I asked the AI to tell me the top mistakes we humans make at being human. That was hilarious. It gave me a top 10 list of lack of empathy, communication, and all that things. But there were 4 things in there that I'm actually helping people with. So we're going to go through those. The number 1 is lack of authenticity. If that's not clear enough, it means that we're trying to be someone we're not. Unfortunately, this problem is bigger than our decision to be that way, because often we don't even know who we are exactly. Remember that movie, Runaway Bride? She didn't know what type of eggs she likes for breakfast. Okay, I know my eggs. Not on all days, but it's an exaggeration, obviously. But yes, it's true. We don't know ourselves, or we forget ourselves on hard, more difficult days, more challenging days, especially. And people can sense when we're not being real, when we're just agreeing with somebody, when we're not making a stand on something that's not very authentic. Or we also end up attracting people who are not our people. That's a problem. They would reject us if they knew the real us, and heck, we should reject them if we knew the real us. So authenticity is very important. Over polishing, we spoke about the perfection before. That's there. While it's important to present yourself well and going for that 100% perfection to the point of appearing overly polished or robotic will create this wall between you and others. And of course, it's encouraged to embrace your imperfections and embrace that human side of your personality, but we don't know them a lot of times. What are your top 5 imperfections? Can you just roll them out when I ask you? No, I can't. I need to look at my phone. What if somebody wakes you up at 3 a.m. and asks, what are your top 5 imperfections? We should know them because we can use them. Those are our tools to relate to people. Those are our tools to be ourselves and be likable. We don't go around advertising them. Hey, here are my imperfections. No, but we use them in conversations, in introductions, in elevator talk, wherever. Some goofy jokes on our own vulnerability. Oh, number 3, yes, vulnerability. I figured you guys don't need slides. You prefer to look at the David over here and the bowl of apricots that I prepared for you guys, right? You can bring them closer if you want. I heard there are issues in the US. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is undervalued. Building those human connections. Thinking about how we show up, all perfect, to people, to make sure they like us. This works in the opposite way. We relate to people who make mistakes. We want to know that we're not the only ones screwing it up and still figuring out life at 55. But how do we go around being vulnerable? How do we don't just vent all the time at how clumsy we are, right? Or how we forget our kids at the daycare. No, that will make us a joke. So that is part of my process too. With the work that I'm showing you today, you have basically all the tools, and all that's left is just being open to sharing these experiences with other people and expressing some emotions. Not too much. Don't be a drama person, but just being real, being fun. Number 4 goes strongly with my photography work, neglecting nonverbal cues. There is so much literature out there nowadays on body language. It should be a must read. They should teach it in school. We should all be educated on how to read these cues, because this is what makes us a better listener. Sometimes we just don't pay attention. It looks like the person is listening to us and agreeing with everything, but they're far away on some other planet right now, drinking cappuccino and, I don't know, martini at the beach. So yes, the communication extends far beyond words, and that's actually why texting anything emotional, who's done it? Texting anything emotional is a very bad idea. Oop, I'm watching the Zoom raising the hand. I don't know how to lower it. I'm just gonna keep it up. Sorry, guys. Hi, my name is Irina, and I'm a photographer. Oh, great. More people. Thank you, guys. Texting emotional things, so stop that. As a non-life coach and a photographer, I can tell you, stop that right now. So body language, facial expressions, tone of voice are extremely important. And I'm going to give you some tips. We don't have that much time, but I'm going to give you some tips on what not to do, things that we actually do every day and aren't even aware of. I'm a little bit of an expert on this because I always pay attention in my photos to not allow these things to happen, because it's very important how people show up in their photos. So it's kind of my job to like tell the client, no, do not do that ever. You know how on Instagram people read the caption after they see the photo? Is anybody on Instagram, or are you guys just using LinkedIn? I'm on LinkedIn too. Instagram is my best friend because, well, you know, pictures. So you know how we, if you're on Instagram, you know how we first see the photo, and then after that we read the caption, not really the entire caption, just the first couple of rows, and then we expand if it's interesting. So if the body language in the photo is not quite communicating, we're not going to read anything. That's how it usually works. So what is the work that I keep mentioning that would allow you to become this magical unicorn human that all your people will immediately recognize and fall in love with? Even though the old ways still work when our experience and expertise are highly desired, that sale normally doesn't lead to a long-term relationship. It's more of a one-night stand kind of transaction. You know what I mean? We do it and we move on out of there. So I'll take you through this process. And generally, we gather all the intel, shine the light on your core essence and uniqueness, and then we package it all up. And we present to people who are going to either love you or want to run away from you, if that's their choice. And we will be fine with both options, both outcomes. Nobody wants to be around people who never accept us for who we are anyway, right? You guys with me? You're excited? Emily is asking, how do you make it update your LinkedIn?
I think that was maybe ChatGPT,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. And then she said you don't have to respond. It wasn't a real question.
Cool. Trevor says, please be careful with ChatGPT. Use it to generate ideas, but be sure not to use the generated words verbatim.
Good
Yes.
point.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I use it for my research. It's like, for me, ChatGPT is advanced Google search. Just gives me more and more organized. And then you have to check everything anyway, because sometimes it makes things up. Like the other day, I was looking for a medical center here in Milan, and it gave me top 3 based on ratings that were completely made up by the AI. And the top center that it sent me to, because it was closest to me and had best ratings, was actually, it actually doesn't exist. So that was fun. Be careful with it. All right. Yes, advanced browser search. Exactly, Martha. Cool. So what was I saying? I was saying how we should all be excited about this process. We should all be doing this process because to me personally, it gives me this feeling of how freaking proud I am about how far I've come and never again forgetting that. I use this tool, this little list, this little personality on my sheet of paper as basically momentum to build upon, because there are times in life when we feel like we're starting from scratch, like being laid off or looking for something new or moving to another country twice. It is never a blank sheet, ever. This is why this is important. We have ourselves, we have our experiences, we have who we are. Good seeing you, Martha. Thank you. We have who we are, and we have to use that as momentum to make the next step forward. We've got us. That's a lot. Never again losing sight of that shiny star that is your personality, that is your humanity. Having that star as something to lean on when we need a lift, when we have a large project, when we just wake up in a bad mood. Hello. Happens. Using this platform as an internal support, forever internal support that nobody can take away. Hello, I want that. Who wants that? Just kidding, you don't have to say it. I'm not selling it to you. It's out there. Use it. Point number 110. Never, ever, ever having to rely on external validation again, or external motivation even. You know how we have to, like, sometimes I used to go to YouTube just to watch some motivational speech by some athlete who's ripped and who's making a ton of money. And he gives this motivational speech and I'd be like, oh, right up. Yeah, I can do this. I can go out there and I can write the script and I can pitch to that company. I don't need that anymore. I just read my little list. It's our motivator. High self-esteem, never going lower than a certain indicator, never not being confident, never not being self-assured. That's wonderful. I love that. And the work is so simple. Okay, so I'm going to cut it short and just show you the work because you guys are starting to leave. And I don't want you to leave without it. Yep. Just make the people fall in love with all of us and just exactly who we are. So what is it that we do? When I talk about defining and building your personality, it's not like we're making up something that doesn't exist. Please, please, please remember that. We're not making anything up. The problem is that we don't shine enough light on our own strengths. The media is distracting, the life is distracting. We kind of end up just fumbling through without really knowing what kind of a treasure we actually are. Horrible. So let's take a giant flashlight and let's shine some light on you. Give you that edge and that confidence that I've been selling. I'm like a salesperson for God today. I want to give you the confidence. Or at least give you the balance that, you know, when you enter new professional relationships, new personal relationships, there's a lot of balancing act going on there. We need that. The process is a no-brainer, really. It will all make sense to you, and you also realize that you've probably never done it before. I want to hear from you if you've never done it before, because you're not alone. I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't doing it for work for other people. So we start with some very strange sounding things like demographics, right? Your age, where were you born, how many parents, how many siblings did you have? All of these have formed your personality. Like there was a day several weeks ago when I woke up and fully realized, like it dawned on me, not that I never knew, but it dawned on me that I'm a 46-year-old female. You have no idea the depth of that. I felt, I cried. It was beautiful, scary, and also like life affirming. There was a lot of things that happened that morning. Something spoke to me there. It's very important to remember where we are in life, who we are, who we have become. So we start with these bunch of personal details. And then we look at the way you show up in the world. Where do you shop? What do you read? Who do you hang out with? How do you spend your free time? Kathy, I'm too young, huh? It's also nice to know sometimes that you're that to people. I'm too old for some people. I'm too young for other people. I am perfect for a lot of people. We're connecting, Kathy. I know we're gonna be best friends now. Of course, there's more to your personality than those things. This is just the start. So those things, okay, so I'm going to use these boring words: demographics, psychographics. If you Google them, it all shows up. If you guys decide to do it yourself, no life coach, nothing, you just Google this stuff, write it down, and seek for the diamonds. Look for gold. Look for something that will feel life affirming to you. It's a lot of these questions will seem trivial at first, but I've seen cases like, oh, I'm a neighbor. I'm playing a role of a neighbor, like when we're examining all our social roles, right? I've been a neighbor in my building for 36 years. I am super responsible. People actually look up to me in our meetings. They look for my decision. They follow my lead, but I never actually thought that I'm a leader. Boom. You just found out that you're a born leader. They just forgot to tell you. This stuff is very important. We look for things that have the capacity to lift you up, that feel strong for you. Some things will be like, meh, okay, yeah, nah. But you're a dog owner, you know you're a dog owner. They own it. Any dog owners here? Cat owners, pet owners? Those people are serious. Exactly. Oh, again, it raised my hand. Your daily habits, the decisions that you make daily, where you get food, how you eat and what you eat, how you exercise, whether you exercise, how you communicate with others, how you contribute to the world. These folks here are running this group for you guys. It's amazing. This is how they're showing up and contribute. Very meaningful to a lot of people. I've joined the LinkedIn group, by the way. I hope you guys will admit me. Yeah. We examine all the quirks. This is the most fun part. I love doing it with people because everybody's so different and I learn every time. And like I said, some questions don't make any sense. This demographics, especially, people are like, well, what is this for? Just do it. Just be patient. Sometimes we can say a lot about the person from the way they shop, from the way they choose the gym, the way they choose the car. What decisions do we make in our life? What can we do to make ourselves feel better about our own decisions is another aspect of this. Because once we realize, oh, this is my habit, I've been doing this for all my life, that's not good. I better I better run. I better hide that. I better change that. Very important thing that we do in this process is people that you like. People that you like and people you look up to. This allows us to see what qualities you admire in others. Maybe you don't possess that quality, but you aspire to. Trevor, can I talk about you? You are in my presentation. I didn't know you'd show up.
No, you're not allowed to talk about me. That's rude.
Trevor admires Hugh Jackman, for example, and his ability to get along with anyone. And Trevor, I think you get along with a lot of people. And clearly, it's one of Trevor's values, something that he has developed. It's a very admirable quality, one you definitely want to shine some light on. And you want to remember it as your strength. That's just an example. People who are famous, who look like you, that's another fun exercise that we do. This helps later on with some visual presentation for in my work, in photography, but also in your everyday life. For example, if you don't know what colors look good on you, how to dress, your body type, your complexion, you can always look up some people that look like you who are famous. They have worked with professional stylists. They know how to make themselves look good, and just steal some ideas, get inspired. It's so fun. All these things that we look at that are unique about you. We ask some interesting questions. We ask some people who are closest to you. We ask them some interesting questions that I'm actually going to share with you and invite you to do this homework. Yes, Ahmed. Trevor looks amazing in his new photos, which I'm going to show you guys because Trevor is in my presentation. Sorry, buddy. He gave me permission. We're good. Things that are unique, right? Oh, very important. If you haven't done this, I strongly encourage you guys to take a strength test. I'm going to put this link in the chat for you because that has changed my life. I'm not exaggerating. I've learned so many things about me, and also it was like, wow, yes, it makes sense. I had no idea. Not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. I think it's the most extensive personality test out there, not like one of those mayors. Those are nice too and fun, but this will give you like a book on you and what to do with it, most importantly. I loved it. If you use it, let me know. I just want to know that people are using it and it works for them. If you don't, no, that's fine. Perry, Shannon, yes, Perry, Trevor, Perry. Trevor, you're popular today. You're welcome. And then there's your values. We definitely look at your values. What is important to you in life, in your work, in the world in general? What would you defend? What would you stand up for? All these things in combination with what we've already found out about you will lead us to defining your place of authority. If you're not a leader, but you definitely want to show up for some social cause, how can you use it? What drives you crazy? What pisses you off about people, society, your own neighborhood, your house? What is it that you are angry about? That is also something to stand for. That is also something to speak about. Now, by this moment, if we were going through this process, you would be completely strapped in and boosted by all these excellent things that we've been shining light on. And now, after that process is done, we've defined your personality. It's on your phone, it's on the sheet, it's in your mind maps, wherever tool you want to use. We look at your goals. If you want to, no pressure, no pressure. But I can guarantee you that based on that person that you just discovered for the first time in your life, you're going to have some different goals. I'm serious. If you guys do this, I want to hear from you. It would be so nice and life affirming. Goals change after we define our personality, always. And they also get bolder. They get a little braver. They get a little bigger. That's what I meant when I mentioned in the beginning of my talk that you're going to want some better things in life. I know I'm sneaky. It's so nice to see you guys taking notes. Thank you. That's good. Or maybe you're checking your phone. That's fine too. I'm kidding. So there's a whole bunch of this stuff that we do. And you get a very clear idea of who you are. You get how valuable you are, what you offer, what you give to the world, how you can show up. You get confidence. You get firm stance on things. You can be flexible, but it's a stance nevertheless. I want to show you some people whose personal brands I've helped transform. And what's better than their own photos to show the difference? He's a storyteller. He's an agitator. Trevor, go off the mute thing. For 2 months after we started working together, and yes, sometimes it takes that long, or it could be short time. It depends on the process. For 2 months, we went over Trevor's brand and positioning and his personality and positioning too, because he's a business owner, and came up with some unique brand ideas, basically unlike any others I've ever seen, easily showing off his character, telling his stories. And these are just a few photos that represent him as a human. I'm very proud of these photos. We took a ton of them. He walked away with a very nice, tight collection of images that everyone who knows him says, oh my God, they look exactly like you.
Mhm.
And it would have not been possible to capture Trevor without doing this personality examination, without building this personal brand. This is us playing chess, by the way. He totally checkmated me in 5 moves. I suck at chess. Even my 9-year-old would win half the time. When you know your personal essence, it's very clear to other people at first glance that you possess something that they want in their life or in their place of work. Ever heard of someone being described as, there's something about her, I'm not sure what it is, but I must get to know her. And of course, stories are very important. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of the presentation because we're running out of time. Do you guys have any questions? Do you want me to cover a little bit about the presentation once that is done, how to present yourself better in terms of the wardrobe, color, what colors to wear, what not to wear, the body language? I promised you that, so I'm going to cover that in the next few minutes, unless I hear some questions. Shannon, yes, the pictures were taken in New York, the first batch, and then I came to Austin to do Trevor's other pictures. We were in in his house, the library, the hoodie was taken in his house, the chess playing, that was there. And that's where I also met Ahmed. I want to mention the body language right away before we wrap up, or you guys kick me off, is the closed body language. This microphone, I just realized I'm tied to the computer. Closed body language, this kind of stuff, no bueno, never, not in pictures, not in meetings. Sometimes it looks like we just don't know what to do with our arms, and it could be true, but really, we need to change that habit, because this is how we protect ourselves. This is how we close ourselves to people, to the world, and unconsciously, when we see people with closed body language, and I'm talking about legs too. We put legs on top of each other. I used to wrap my leg so many times. Yeah. No closed body language. Definitely a no-go. The second biggest mistake is being in a threatening position. Men do it a lot, women less, but it's something to pay attention to. There is a power pose when you spread your legs wide and you kind of just stand like this. Sometimes we put hands in our pockets, that also is hiding something. But the threatening body language, when we look kind of like from above at people and hiding our own insecurities, that works against us too. First of all, people who know body language, they know you're hiding something. And people who don't, they're just threatened by you and they don't want to be your friend. That's just how it is. Actually writing this very extensive article on body language. So if you guys stay tuned, you will see it on my blog. And if you want to work with me, you can, even though I do live in Italy. People do travel to Italy, just FYI, and I do come to the United States. Don't know if you want to take any photos. Photos help tremendously with confidence, with developing confidence. It's like a cheap therapy, cheap form of therapy, cheaper, not cheap, cheaper. And if you want a hype person, if you want to hire a hype person to do this process for you, just for your group, just for this group, there are 4 spots that I'm offering this summer, $337 per person. There's a lot of calls, a lot of brainstorming, and you walk away with this perfect frame for who you are, your personality, hyped up, made bigger than life. And that's how you work with me remotely. Also, I'm making this very interesting training that's coming out next month on AI, specifically on using text-to-image AI. So it's not a chat GPT, but I cover how we generate images now. Instead of browsing, for example, for hours, the stock libraries to find a perfect photo for your next presentation, we can just go and prompt it, and the AI will spit us an image or several to have something. I'm going to make sure you guys have some links. I am definitely on Instagram a lot. I actually have 2 accounts, unfortunately, so feel free to join either one of them. I do follow back, and I do love to talk on Instagram. So if you're one of those people, please come and say hi.
Why do you have 2 Instagram accounts? Are they different? Is one focused on your pictures and one focused on something else?
Exactly. One is a professional one. So I am Irina Leoni, is where I talk about branding and I post photos, professionally done photos. The other one is my travel. It's not a blog. I'm not as consistent, but I like to post some travel inspired things on there. And sometimes I post tips, like 2 months ago, my boyfriend and I went to Valencia and we created this list of things that we ate there that people should seek out because he's quite a planner. It was very impressive. My LinkedIn profile, the website with photos is powerportraits.com. I've created this company called Power Portraits to give power to portraits, to give people power through their portraits. And the irinaleoni.com is the website as a branding expert. I've also pasted again the strengths test for those who want to start shining some light on their personality. That thing is seriously good. I was impressed. I am wrapping it up because you guys want to go do other things. I know it's morning. So how was this?
I think it was excellent, especially the photos of Trevor. I think we're told, for your LinkedIn headshot, for example, that you should have a professional, formal portrait I was interested. This was my question I was going to ask you. When you did those corporate photos, and very often they're on the company website and it says who we are and it says, here's our management team. And we've all seen those portraits where they're all wearing a suit and they look very professional. But once in a while you see a company where the personality of the company is much more laid back, much more informal. And so, they're wearing, sports shirts, or, they're just not as formal, not as stiff. They come across as a human being. And I know that for certain corporations like banks, financial institutions, they feel that those formal portraits portray a higher degree of ethical, professional, intellectual behavior, that they have, that's their brand. And other companies are more collaborative or, less, just more spontaneous.
More human, yes.
Human, yes. But does that also make your brand be less respected? Does it depend on what your product or service is as to how you want to portray yourself?
It may have been that way, but not anymore. Now, every time I see I am I'm a branding person, but I know for a fact that people react much better to things that change their perception. Like when you're looking at this webpage with a ton of headshots that look exactly like that, very uncomfortable. By the way, how do you feel about it? You're not even looking at those pictures, right? You're just skipping them. But imagine a bank having their management team like PetSmart once did. They've brought all their executives to take pictures with dogs and cats, either their own pets or borrowed. It was amazing. It worked so well. Everybody was looking and sharing, and it's engagement. There are ways we can engage through photos. It's not even hard anymore, especially when people ask the professionals. And I heard you mention that you were saying that people will get an opportunity to take photos with the pro. I am very highly recommending you guys to have a little fun, get a little goofy, wear something interesting, or do more than just a friendly professional face.
My headshot on LinkedIn for years, it would still be there, except it was so airbrushed that you couldn't, even back then anyway. And so it was like 20 years ago. But I had a Hoverman sphere. I don't know if you know what those are. They expand. I had one over my head, and then I had a video lower down in profile that was a little video that was titled, "What Does She Have on Her Head?" And then you had to look at the video to figure out why I was in that. But I know that one of our speakers, when he was showing us, here are some good headshots, and they were all formal headshots, with people that were not goofy. And I know that he had mentioned somewhere else, he had mentioned mine as an example of what you should never do, to have something stupid like that.
No.
But it kind of depends on what your brand is. So my brand was supposed to be humor. And so I had this stupid headshot. So
yes, back then things were different.
Yeah.
We were so afraid to stand out, and we would yell at everybody who did. Now
but I don't know that if I really had been looking for a job, if I would have kept that. Because I don't know. What does it say? Does it say that this person is a goof off and is too independent, isn't gonna fit into your corporate structure?